What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Quad Shop Podcast. We are more than stoked to be here. Some might say ecstatic. Roan, how you doing? How you feeling? Are you sipping on something? If you are, what the fuck are you sipping on? Come on.
Guys, what's going on out there? I hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday. We are coming to you live from Quad Shop Podcast. I'm doing fantastic, brother. I'm excited about another episode here. I'm excited to get back into the consistency of the pod. And I just hammered away, actually, two homemade hot lattes with espresso.
Let me see the inside. It's
Yeah,
empty.
that thing's cooked, man. Thing's finished.
Well, that's cleaned out.
Cleaned out, brother.
Wow.
So
wait. What homemade latte? Are you pulling?
espresso.
You're pulling?
No, so it's an espresso machine, right? It's the old school one. Everyone knows what that is. But I do an espresso, a little bit of honey, just for good measure, and then I hit them with a little bit of whole milk. So hit them over the head, rigmarole.
Yep.
We're good to go.
All right. This is
What are you doing?
I got some here. We got in the ceramic thermos. This is a pour over, black, bean selected from none other than local roaster Snowy Owl. So
Yep, shout out Snowy Owl, guys.
yeah, it's the Brewster Bookstore blend. I'm gonna have to go out on a limb here and say this could be it. I might have to bring this one home to Meaty. So no, it's a good bean. Wish I could give you a little bit, but what do you got? What's been going on? How you been feeling? What's going on?
Yeah, dude. You know what? I'll be honest. I'm all right. I am doing really good right now. I'm doing really good. I guess the past few weeks have been a little stressful for me. Anxiety's been a little bit high. Just trying to figure out kind of where that's coming from. Maybe some internal factors, some external factors, environmental factors. So I've been trying to narrow down on that. So I've had a few tough days, anxiety-wise, but I'm doing a lot better nowadays. It's life's hard. It always will be hard. It's just you got to have people around you that support you and help you get through those days. And never going to be easy. So
you're saying you don't know where that's stemming from, or you haven't figured out what the root cause of it is yet?
Well, I think there's multiple factors in play, but all I know is that I'm feeling a little bit better.
That's good. And what steps are you taking to heal and reduce that stress and anxiety?
Yeah, sure. Getting outside more, putting my phone down, doing some mindfulness exercises, making sure to work out so I tire my mind out so I'm not anxious, making sure I try to stay present even when I'm anxious and just try really hard. Say if I'm driving and I'm super anxious, I'll pick an object straight away and just breathe and look at that. Say it's a 3 on a license plate. I'll just look there and go, breathe, like it's all good, and just try to ground myself, feel my feet on the ground. Little stuff like that that I've learned over the years. But yeah, when you start to become more, I guess, when you become, get more into your adult years, I think you have a lot more responsibilities, a lot more things that you embark on. Your day-to-day gets a lot busier. There's more things you need to worry about. So it, especially me who does have anxiety and like OCD, it's challenging sometimes. Sometimes that can impact like the way I live my life. And so I try everything I can to not have that impact, but it still does sometimes. So yeah, it sucks. But I'm here. We're here, dude.
Yeah.
So
no, that's great stuff.
Doing a lot better.
That's good. I'm glad you're doing better, and I'm glad you're taking the steps to get better. That's a lot of people deal with that, right? So it's good that you're open enough to share.
For sure, yeah. For example, I'll cut down on coffee, even though I don't want to. I cut down on coffee.
Wow.
Like on the days I'll just do I'll just do like 1 in the morning, and then because I know I'm already like mentally just all haywire. So I'm just like, all right, I'll get 1 to wake me up, but that's it.
Are you all right? You gonna make it, or what's going on?
No, I'm gonna make it.
That's like Rowan fuel, like, you know.
I know, dude. It's So
So you're just one and done now?
No. Like when I feel myself being really like having a hard day with my anxiety, like I just do 1.
Wow. And that helps. Have you noticed a difference?
Yeah.
So do you think
100%.
Do you think that like coffee or caffeine, let's just label it as caffeine because everyone consumes it differently. Do you think that has a role in increasing the anxiety and stress?
I don't know about stress, but I think anxiety for sure. So when I know I'm feeling like predisposition that day to like feeling anxious, like then I'll have to only do like 1 or max 2, but then cut off by like 11 a.m.
What if you're feeling good? Are you going to like 4?
Bro, if I'm feeling good, you know me, bro. You've seen me on road trips, dude. I'm stopping every 2 hours to get a coffee, going zipper on them,
Yeah.
Buzzing.
Oh yeah.
Just like,
yeah.
So it was funny, dude, the other day in the local coffee shop, shout out Boris and Beans, my buddy, Tyler Escoto, shout out Tyler, former MMA professional fighter. He sent me an Instagram. He's followed my podcast. I followed his. We were talking about it a little bit, but he sent me. It was pretty cool yesterday. He sent me an Instagram DM of a quad shot. He goes, "Quad shot, baby." Him sipping on a quad. So
let's go.
So he's getting fired up. So I was like, "Hey, bro, appreciate the note. Love to see you. Have a good rest of the day, brother." So that was sick. Just we're just getting quad shots out there for everyone, dude. It will be sick actually. Like speaking of that live. Our next merch drop, once we start to pick this thing back up and do this for real again, do like a quad shot, like a special edition, bro. Just like a quad shot.
Limited
t-shirt.
drop, limited latte quad drop.
Yeah.
Like that.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, bro.
That's dope, dude. That's dope. What's that?
How have you been recently?
Dude, I've been good, man. I've been good. I've been working a lot on the business. For those of you who don't know, I'm a barber. So I transitioned out of the first ever barber shop that I was in. I was there for 2 years. And I was doing good there. I transitioned out of it probably last September or something like that. And it was a tough transition. I was so lucky to find a shop with 2 fucking awesome guys that were like, yeah, dude, if you want to work here, work here. So came in, started doing my thing, but it was different, right? It's more of what I wanted. It was exactly what I was looking for. It's the freedom to operate my business exactly how I want. So I can do as little or as much as I want. So I have the freedom that I was looking for, and that I didn't have at my previous job. And that was one of the biggest issues. But now that I have it, I have to navigate it. So I've been navigating that, and I've just been growing the business, taking necessary steps to build it. Good, solid foundation, something that'll last, So it's that's been really fun. Because now it's like my thing. I'm not just like working at a barber shop and cutting hair, and it's the same thing, every day. It's much more personalized this way. So it feels very cool. It's more hands-on. And
Go ahead. Sorry.
What's that?
Tell them, everyone what you've been up to. I mean, your recent trips,
yeah. So Costa Rica, man.
Based on flexibility. Sorry to interrupt, but this is based on the flexibility you get with your new barbershop and schedule, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
yeah, because of this, I like that, Ron. Because of the structure that I'm now building myself, I'm able to say, okay, I know I want to go on a 2-week trip. I know I want to have it around this time, and I know, where I want to go and whatnot. So 2 weeks at Costa Rica, end of February, great trip, surfed every day. It was more of like a reset, relaxation, just kind of like come back to the roots trip. So it was a lot of just like chilling, eating, surfing, and just spending time out in nature. It was exactly what I needed. The waves were awesome. You get like 6 hours a day in the water. And it's just the vibes were high. It was really, really fun. But that being said, having to come back to Cape Cod in the winter when everything's slow and it's very cold, it was tough. So I think next year I'd go for a little bit longer and maybe push it to like end of February, maybe even the beginning of March, and then I'd come back in April. That's when things really start to like spring. We're starting to see flowers now here on the Cape, and you're getting like a 45, 50 degree day, and it's nice, but that was so tough. Like going from like tropical 85 sunny, chilling every day, like board shorts out in the water, just like total fucking vibe. Coming back to this, that was a tough transition. It almost like kicked that seasonal depression into another gear,
Really? You think you were a little bit more depressed coming home?
No, I wasn't more depressed. It was just like harder to deal with, because I was used to it before leaving to go to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So
I feel you, bro.
It couldn't have been a better trip. It was absolutely incredible, and grateful to have gone and been able to do that. So yeah, as I build my business, and all my clients already know like I like to travel, so they're the best. They'll go like a month without a haircut sometimes if I have to go and travel, whatever. So yeah, next year I think I'm going to do a little bit longer.
100%, bro. Count me in, dude. I mean, are you kidding me?
We got to do a quad shop trip. I think we're going to try and make that happen.
Yep. So coming to you guys, hopefully in the next year, Aiden and I, whether it's a road trip, whether it's we're going to fucking Bali, Australia, we're going to do a big quad shot 2-week hammerhead trip. All right. But it's going to be quad shot focused.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to be vlogging the whole thing. Right, Aiden?
Oh yeah.
I mean, big vlogs, big Instagram push after. We're, cut, edit some reels. It's going to be super fun. So
yeah, last time we did the road trip, we had the travel pod, and that was something that we really wanted to push and incorporate. And me obviously not moving out to California, that was a conflict for those plans. But now we just have to approach it at a different angle. Like, okay, we could get a 2-week trip in.
We both have the flexibility now and like the jobs to be able to do that. So that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fantastic. I would love to get into the buzz of the day, and then we have pour over section.
All right, let's buzz it up. You want to go first?
Let me go first, kid. Actually, you know what? You go first. I'm going to wait on mine.
You want to wait on it?
You go first.
Okay. So my buzz of the day, it's an interesting one. It's not necessarily just a quote to simplify. It's more of a grand scheme of things. And I'm just going to kick it off by saying, create things in your life where the only accountability that can be held is through yourself, right? So if you implement these things into your life where it's you versus you, and the gym is the perfect example. The only person that can get in the car and drive to the gym is you, right? And say you have a week where you're consistent and you go to the gym and you held yourself accountable. No one's keeping you in check. You don't have a gym buddy. It's just you. And you show up every day that week. You feel damn good. That feeling's almost hard to match, right? And the reason that feels so good is because you don't do that often. There's not a lot of things in life where you're holding yourself accountable like that and you actually follow through with it. I don't want to speak for everyone here, but I think that's the case most of the time. So creating things in your life, don't set yourself up for failure now, because that could spin off in a whole nother direction. But if you're confident and you're ready and you want something, create something in your life, a structure, a routine that you have to hold yourself accountable. It could be going for a walk once a day, not weather dependent. You just go for a walk once a day, right? It could be 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes. It could be 10 miles. But you're holding yourself accountable. And then each day you do it. And the more you do this, the more you develop the skill. I'm going to call it a skill. The skill that it takes to apply this in different areas of your life. You're going to eventually become more consistent in other areas of your life. So if you start by doing something small where you're holding yourself accountable and say, I want to eat the same breakfast every day because I want to change my whole diet. You don't start by changing your whole diet.
You don't go, okay, I've been eating ground beef for the last 6 months. I'm ground beef's out. I'm not everything I just ate for the last 6 months. Okay, I'm going on to a new diet. No, you got to phase it out. You got to start somewhere small, right?
Right. Or say you have no structure, no diet, and you want to get into nutrition. And you want to start giving your body the energy and, that it needs. But you don't have a foundation in this area at all. The perfect way to implement something like that is a breakfast. One breakfast a day, one meal a day. I'm just going to do, for this week, I'm going to do the same breakfast every day. You do it. You try to shoot for the same time, you do it. Hold yourself accountable, you do it. You build it, you build it, you build it. And then eventually that turns into your full diet now is good. It's, you've held yourself accountable. You've developed that skill, and now it's just like easy. So I noticed the impact that this has had for me in my life. But I've noticed also my failures. Every time I've tried to do something and failed at it, I just tried to start too big. It was too big of a jump. And there's smaller steps to get to that point first. That's going to help you be consistent at the overall goal, right? Because you don't just want to get there and you've arrived, right? That's not really how life works. Most things are, when you develop something and you build something, it needs constant nourishment and encouragement and attention and love, right? So it's not just like you do this and end up here and that's it. So building it slowly, little steps, is going to help you get to where you want to be. And then once you are where you want to be, you're going to have developed those skills to stay there. And that's what's important, because consistency gives you success. And that is in any area of your life. So that's my buzz of the day.
I love that. And it's about the journey, right? Like you don't just say, okay, I'm going to change my diet, and then you're there and you're automatically, you gain 10 pounds of muscle. It's about the journey. And in that you find happiness. Mm-hmm. And that's so funny that you just said that, because your buzz of the day, and we didn't even sync up before this podcast. We both kind of prep on our own. My buzz of the day is going to go off that very nicely.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
I love it, bro.
So let me get into it.
All right.
It's simple, but it makes you think. It's a question. Am I enjoying the journey, or am I trying to secure the outcome? Because when you're trying to secure the outcome, it's so easy to take shortcuts, look past things, be no, this is how it's going to be. You have this image in your mind of, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. this is going to be us in 10 years. This is going to be me in 10 years. Like, things change, you evolve, people change. You've got to be present. You've got to be working through things in the present. So, and then you're more likely for that outcome to come true. You can't skip all the little things in between and say skip those hard conversations, whether that's a relationship or you can't skip those little tweaks to your diet or those little things in the gym, because you're trying to secure the outcome and looking too big picture when you're not even doing the little things, right? Just like to your point, like you're not taking it day by day. You're not living in the moment. Like I went to, another thing about me is something I should have shared is I started to go to church. So I've started to go to church like every Sunday with my buddy Garrett, shout out Garrett. But that's been really helpful for me and just kind of open my eyes to, the Bible and like certain, because the Bible, you don't have to be religious to take something away from the Bible or what God's saying, right? And God can mean many things to many different people. But it's all about the journey. And during the sermon yesterday from the pastor, a few things he mentioned in the book of James is life's fleeting. And, the only thing you have, it's just another good reminder, is today. You could for the next, for example, like next 6 months, okay, I'm going to plan to say I need to work on my lower body strength. Okay, I'm going to work on my lower body. I'm going to do, you come up with this whole plan. You do three lower body days a week, back squat, front squat, Bulgarian split squats, lunges, and you start from 20 pounds. And your goal in the next 6 months is to start, Bulgarian split squatting, say 60 pounds on each leg, right? But say the next day, you break your leg, right? Like you really can't, you have to live in the moment because you really never know what's going to happen. And like, if you walk with God or you walk with your higher power, then you just take every day in stride. And I know it's hard to not try to control the outcome, but if you try to do that, other things will slip and other things will fall. Say it's in, a relationship and you're just like say there's red flags and like something keeps bothering you and you're just like, oh, well, 10 years down the road with this person, I just, I see us just being married and happy with kids. But you're not gonna, if you don't address these things that are bothering you, you're not gonna have that with this person. So enjoy the journey, enjoy the little things, be in the moment. Because I think a lot of people in our life, and we see this on social media or just like in life, and you hear people, our friends always talking, there's always those friends that are like, yeah, this is how it's going to be. And I can't wait, man, 10 years. Like, I'm a culprit of this. I do this. Like, yeah, I can't wait in 10 years, like blah, blah, all this. But, I don't know what my life's going to look like in 10 years. So all I have is the journey to try to get there. And maybe along the way, my journey and my path changes, but that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. If you're walking in line with your truth and trying to live out your purpose, like God always says, like, if you know that you're doing good for the world and you don't use it, that's considered sin, which I thought was very powerful. And that's why it keeps bringing me back to this podcast. Like, I love doing this podcast with you. I feel like you and I talk about things that not a lot of people talk about at our age. And we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to be beacons of hope and light for other people out there that, I know I've struggled with mental health. I struggled with things in my life. But, we're all human beings at the end of the day. We're all going to be vanished in time 3 generations from now. Hopefully, and that's our hope. Hopefully our legacy will live on. But, there's no promises, right? So you just try to live your life to the fullest. So, I think that's important. It's easy to try to secure the outcome without doing any of the work. And I think, that's important to think about. It's like, enjoy the journey first and then the outcome will come. So that's what I got. What do you think about that?
I love that. And I think it's great how aligned, our Buzz of the Days were without us, conversing about it. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So I want to ask you about church, right? Because, my dad's side of the family, the Italian side, church going, right? You get confirmed, you get baptized, the whole nine. It's the Catholic upbringing, which I was removed from almost in a sense growing up with my mom, but I got like both sides, right? And I'd label my mom, if I had to, more on a spiritual sense, right? That doesn't mean that she doesn't believe in God or a higher power, right? So I just want to ask you, because I know where I'm at and I could share after, but I want to ask you, where were you before going to church? How did you feel about going to church the first couple of times? And where are you now in a religious or spiritual sense?
Sure. I think in the religious and spiritual sense, it's funny. I grew up in the same situation. My dad, I grew up going to, I was baptized. I didn't do the communion or anything like that, but he was from South Boston, very Roman Catholic family, Irish. I grew up going to, Catholic church with him, the big Catholic churches in Boston in the traditional sense. So my dad's side, just like your dad's side, was Roman Catholic. And then my mom was on the more spiritual side. And I think my mom and your mom are similar in that way that, they love being outside. They're both Cape Codders. Very similar in that way. They're both spiritual. My mom's spiritual as well. She started going to church here and there, but she's been more on the spiritual side, definitely, than the traditional Roman Catholic churchgoer. But I've always seen Roman Catholic Church as just a thing people do. And then I've seen on my dad's side of the family, some of their problems, and I was like, I don't know if this is really for me. So, and I was kind of young too to really understand what was going on. So I just kind of steered away from it. And then when I started obviously living with my, being raised by my mom, it was okay, I just kind of adopted the doctrine of spirituality. And that's gotten me so far. And it's funny, just up until a few months ago, I started going to church. So, and it's a non-denominational, just Christian church. But I will say I'm amazed at, and I'm still very spiritual, and I believe in, guardian angels and your ascended masters, your archangels, all that stuff that you take with you and your previous ancestors that you can call on. But I will say this, I don't know what God is or who that person is or what even that is, but I think the Bible, there are things in there that are really important messages for anyone that's trying to live a better life. And I think it's helped me a lot, and I'm proud of myself for just going and being open-minded. And shout out Garrett for saying, hey, just come. It's really good for you. I'm like, all right. So he got me into it. Obviously, I was willing to go, but yeah, I started to go pretty much every Sunday now. I'll skip Sundays here and there, but I think I'm definitely more. It's funny, some things that have been weighing on me that week. It's funny now. I'm like, okay, I'm excited to go to church to hear what the pastor says, because this pastor Josh in San Diego, it's funny, every time I go there, that something's weighing on my mind or I'm struggling with something, that church sermon will help me out so much and be exactly what I needed about the current situation that I'm in. It's crazy. The past 2 weeks have been that way. And 2 weeks ago, we were like, hey, just, let's pray. And, if you want to repent any sin or anything that you're going through or struggling with, God has you. And it was funny how that worked. And I kind of let it all go. And I felt so much better after, something you're struggling with. And it was something small, but I feel so good now. It helped me out so much that I can keep myself accountable by going back to this place, knowing that if I go back and keep doing the same thing, I'm still going to feel like shit, right? Mm. So it was so helpful for me to kind of keep myself accountable and walk in line with I guess they call it Christ, right? So, or God. So it's pretty cool how that works. And it was funny, I've been talking a lot about financials and my financial situation with my buddies, you know, and everyone. And it's funny, what's today? Yesterday was about financials. And you don't need, you know, Christ always was about giving back, you know, and like the line in the Bible is like, your nice fancy clothes, or you know, moths are going to eat them and tear them away when you die, or like your gold and silver is going to be buried. Like, you're not taking any of that with you. And it was important, an important message, because save, do the right thing, but any of that extra money is like, expend it on yourself or your family or whatever. But, you know, don't be afraid to give back. Like, you know, give $5 to the homeless, or give a jacket off your back. Like, you know, I think that's so important. And that's our message with Quad Shot, you know, is like, we want to help people out in any way we can. So I think I'm definitely, I don't know if I'm like Christian, but I believe in that side of things. I understand where it helps people and people get more realigned with themselves and in a better way of life. So pretty powerful stuff, pretty cool.
Yeah. And just the way that we came today together and we're aligned energetically with our buzz of the days, you received exactly what you needed when you went to church energetically, right? And it was aligned. And I bet the person sitting next to you, to your left, received a very similar thing, the exact thing that they had been talking to their buddies about and they needed to hear was said as well, but it was completely different from what you needed to hear. So
100%.
My question for you, Ronan, this week for the pour over segment is not a third party. It's me to you. And it's a short, simple, sweet question. How do you approach failure?
It's a great question. How do I approach failure? You know, I think it depends on what it is, how important that goal you're trying to accomplish is. If you keep failing over and over and over again on something, like, you've got to weigh what that, you know, how is that weighing on you? How's that affecting you? How's that affecting your relationship with something or someone? And how much do you actually care? You know, some things that you fail at, you're like, okay, cool, I'll move on to the next, another approach. I'll take what I get, right? But if that issue or that failure is really something that you can't live with, or you need that to come true, then that's something to reevaluate, or sit down with that person or thing again and be like, okay, I failed at this many times. It's like throwing pasta at a wall. I really care about this one thing. How do I fix it or try again?
Okay, so you take a step back and you look at it from a different perspective.
Yep.
Okay. And then would you now take a new approach?
Yes, you can try a new approach, but then knowing that it hasn't worked already, you look back and say, okay, well, is this something that I can live with 5-10 years down the road? Is this something that is going to impact my relationship with myself, my own needs, something or someone? Am I unsatisfied right now? When is this affecting my life so bad that I can't live like this anymore? Or are you willing to give and take, right? Are you willing to, okay, sacrifice this so you can have this? But if it is a big thing for you and a big priority, then what you do is you have to address it. Whether you try to bring it up again, you try to do something else, a different approach, or if you're still failing on something, then you move on and cut your losses. But I think you try to you step back, reevaluate again. You ask yourself, how important is this to me? How is my mental health how am I being affected by this? And am I not happy? Am I happy or not happy right now with this? And if you aren't happy, it is really affecting you. You keep trying, but you keep failing, and you feel like kind of like it's a lost hope. then you bring it up again, you try something different, or you just move on.
Okay.
So that's my advice.
You've failed at something. Now
Yep.
it's time to ask yourself, is this worth continuing the pursuit? Yes or no? No, you let go completely. Yes, you'll take a step back. You'll look at your past failures. You'll have your little notes and you'll say, this is what I tried. This is what I tried. How can I look at this from a new perspective? And then once you see it from that new perspective, you start implementing steps to try and pursue it in a different way.
100%.
So failure is not the end of the road. It's actually giving you more information to pursue it further, right?
Yep. And it's got to feel good for you, though. It's got to be satisfactory for you. And like, say you reach success in another way, right? Is that still going to feel good for you? You know, is that enough for you? Right?
Yeah. And then sometimes you feel like life throws things at you and you fail, and it's like, you got to let this one go. You got to let this go. You know, because I've been in relationships in the past, you know, where that's been the case.
100%. And I'll say this again. I think it's really important. Everyone has needs, and everyone's needs is different. My needs are so much different than your needs. You've got to take this in consideration. Something that you keep failing at. How much is that a need on your priority list? Like, is this something you're just like, Jesus, I am unhappy right now. I don't feel fulfilled. This sucks. I'm failing at this. Like, do you move on, or you try to find another way to address it or approach it? Like, I don't think it's a give up and move on, you know, yet, until you've really exhausted all your options.
Okay.
And tried a different angle. And if it just keeps failing, then it's like, you've got to have a hard conversation with yourself or someone or something. Be like, fuck, like, I'm not getting anywhere.
Do you have any personal examples in your own life? It could be anything, or, you know, like you said, a situation with anyone, or, you know, something that you tried where you failed and either conquered or let go. Do you have any experiences like that?
Oh man, that's a good question on the spot. Any experiences like that? Yeah, I think in my relationship, you know, certain times when I brought up certain things in a manner, I kept getting not shot down, but not heard, I felt like. And so eventually I was like, hey, I really don't feel good about this. I am really anxious. I am not doing well. I need you to hear me out and listen, or this isn't going to work. You know, or like, I'm not even like that, but I'm really struggling right now with this thing. And that kind of opens their eyes, like, okay, well, what is it? And then it kind of gives you the platform to be like, hey, I'm not doing well. I'm struggling. And that's a person that cares about you. And then they start to listen and understand, okay, where you're coming from. Then you hopefully compromise, meet in the middle, or they meet your needs. So, yeah.
So you changed your approach, kind of.
Change your approach. I've changed my approach. I think sometimes if you bring it up enough, they'll hopefully understand or get it. And you know, people are different. People see things differently. Maybe there's miscommunication. People don't see eye to eye. Maybe you say something to someone and they take it completely different, or don't understand what you mean, or do understand what you mean but are uncomfortable doing it. And then you're like, okay, well, let's break that down. How can I make you feel more comfortable at doing this? So you've got to exhaust all your options, right? You've got to try. So I think that's the most important takeaway, is if it's something that really you care about and it's a priority for you and you're not happy, then you've got to try. So there it is.
I like that.
Does that answer your question? Do you feel better about that approach?
Yeah, I was just curious as to how you approach failure. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to look different for everyone. But yeah,
Yep.
that was just something I wanted to ask you, because everybody
Yep.
fails. Everybody fails. And it's how you approach it that makes
How
the
do you
difference.
feel about that?
What?
You feel better about do you feel a little bit like you gained a little bit of insight on how to approach it?
I gained insight
What
on how
percentage?
you approach failure. That's why I asked you the
Okay.
question.
Gotcha. You took something away from that though, correct?
Definitely.
Okay, cool. All right, man. Dude, this pour over is an integral part of our episode or in our podcast because it's stuff that people go through every day and don't get asked questions and answers. And these are we're two grown men here, been through a lot, having these conversations and hopefully making people feel like, hey, I'm not alone. We're shedding light on these topics and I've gone through this and now we can push through. So
Yeah.
Love you guys. Great episode podcast. Do you have anything else to say before we jump and head on to the next one?
Nope, that's beautiful. We'll catch you guys in another 2 weeks. We'll be back. Thanks for tuning in today.
Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll talk to you soon.